Hi there, Scott from Wessex Blades. Welcome back again. These are the short answers that I have left on the Machete Zombie Knife consultation. I haven't gone into it too deeply, allowing the points that I'm trying to make just speak for themselves. So we're going to go through the questions. There's about 20. I've edited them into a movie so I can just literally clonk through them as I'm going. So the consultation, question 1. Question: do you agree that the government should take further action to tackle knife crime, and in particular the use of machetes and large knives in crime? It's one of these loaded questions. Do you think more? And then they add as a combination the use of machetes and large knives in crime. All that there should be concentrating on are the zombie knives. So my answer is yes, you should be taking more, just a little bit more, and that's only to remove precisely the fantasy zombie knives intended on the previous act. Okay. Machetes, cleavers, goloks and bowies themselves are a practical tool. So I'm saying yes in a way, but they're villainising machetes and other large knives, and I'm telling them not to. So only to remove precisely the fantasy zombie knives. The machetes, the bowies, the cleavers, the goloks, those in themselves are practical tools. Okay, question 2. Banning certain types of knives and machetes which we suggest have no practical use. Okay, banning certain types of machetes and knives. Okay, because we're trying to get them to isolate simply the zombie and fantasy ones that they haven't effectively got rid of the previous time, and seem to be designed to look menacing and suitable for combat. Do you agree with the proposal? Now I've put no, and the reason is this: because you've added the phrase suitable for combat, which includes swords, katanas, collectible military bayonets, daggers, etc. You must keep it to only include the fantasy zombie style you banned previously. Menacing is subjective and open to personal bias. So that's my answer to question 2. We're loading the question. And to sound a little menacing and suitable for combat. Suitable for combat's irrelevant. Because combat knives, as soon as you put combat, as soon as you put military, as soon as you put fighting, we're going to lose K-Bar. We're going to lose Sykes Fairbairn. Okay, question 3. Looking at the common features present in the knives and machetes we are proposing to ban, do you agree that any legal description should refer to, and then in brackets, the article containing both smooth and serrated cutting edges? I've put no. My reason: no. All manner of practical knives and tools have a combination of plain and serrated edges. It is plain, not smooth. A smooth edge sounds to me like a non-cutting edge. Right? The manner of description best put is fantasy zombie, and serrations as a term is vague. Do you really know the difference between a true serration, a sawback, and teeth? That's my answer to question 3. And then in terms of their descriptions, in B, the article containing more than one hole, I've answered no. Utterly pointless. A clueless design description. The fantasy zombie style are not simply holes, they are huge cutouts. Many practical cleavers have multiple holes as a design concept. Just literally a design feature. My Berserker's got holes in it. Small holes. You could have a 1mm hole. You could have two 1mm holes. by their classification, that would then make it a zombie knife if it has two of the following three. If it has a smooth, smooth is a plain edge, and two 1mm holes, that makes it a zombie knife. In their brains. No. And then for their description, C, the article being of a certain length. I've said no. My answer, absolutely not. Useful, practical machetes are various lengths traditionally and must be retained as outdoor tools for recreation, landscaping, clearing, gardening. So machetes over 8 inches, just barely a machete. What are they trying to do? Zombie knives, fantasy knives, stuff that you wanted removing, that's what you can remove. Not machetes, practical machetes. Because even though they say with the practical thing, they're still bringing in whatever the length is. It's nothing to do with the length. Fantasy, zombie, could be any length. Because the public get confused. They don't know 3-inch under 3-inch slip joints. They don't know the difference between that and a lockback. They don't know that difference between that and a slip joint. They don't know that between a frame lock. They don't know that with detents. They ain't got a clue. All they know is 3 inches, and anything above is illegal. They're only going to pick up the bullet points. And once the Sun and the Mirror and the Guardian start doing they're banning all machetes over 9 inches. That's not a machete. That's more of a short ass, like, parang thing. Anyway, absolutely not is my answer to C, article of a certain length. D, left it open. Are there any other features that could be included in the legal description? I've gone with them. I said, look, must be practical, not zombie fantasy style. Made with a solid handle, if it's plastic, rubber or wood, wear fitted. Okay, right. It needs to be genuine paracord, not cheap nylon cord. This will make it better, safer tools with a good quality, a protective sheath to protect the user. Okay, so whatever machetes end up after this thing in the zombie knife, as you know, the cheap ones that come and then they have a cord wrap, sort of like a theatrical sort of Eli blade. It can't have cheap nylon cord. It's got to be full on paracord. Quality is what we're after. It will then put the manufacturing cost up ever so slightly, so we're stopping the purchase of knives and horrible looking zombie knives at $16.99. I've seen them $16.99, and they're for rubbish backyard slasher things. That's what these kids are buying. They won't be buying custom Goloks or proper US armies, you know, for the cost that they are, £70-80. They're not going to be doing that. They're going to be buying the cheap fantasy zombie knives, the scary looking ones with the rubbish nylon wrap. So I've mentioned, if it's a wrap, it has to be genuine paracord, which will still allow the theatrical ones. That's my D. Okay, now on to question 4. Looking at the length for the types of knives and machetes we're proposing to ban, we invite views on whether the minimum length should be. What the minimum length of the ones they're banning, or the maximum length of they put minimum. I'm literally sat here on a rock going, they're going to ban the minimum length, or they're going to allow anyway, 8 inch, 9 inch, 10 inch, any length. I haven't answered any of those. I've said must not ban any length whatsoever. The question should be removed. Is able to be answered by members of the public who may not envisage any practical use in their limited experience. Machetes, by their historic design, are various lengths. They are practical, and that's the crux of the matter. These gangs are buying cheap, budget, pointy things, not well made, practical outdoor items. So I haven't answered it. You're supposed to be going after zombie. The length itself is irrelevant. And the reason I say length is irrelevant is it becomes a talking point as a headline in a tabloid or on the news. All of a sudden, all the public pick up on are the bullet points. And as soon as you start banding around over 10 inches, any time they ever see any machete, any length over 10 inches in their head, they think is illegal. Because they fixate on bullet points. So the length shouldn't be a talking point. The talking points are fantasy zombie. Okay, question 5. We would like to understand whether and to what extent machetes and large outdoor knives may be needed currently in the UK. Like they don't know. This is England. Sheffield steel. Never heard of that. Robin Hood. They don't know. Battle of Hastings. They've got no historical use for a blade ever, as far as they're concerned, in England. Scythes in the field. We've never had an agricultural history whatsoever, so never done hedges. Oh dear. Anyway, I've just put a few points. Artisan makers as part of a complete range. An artisan maker may want a smaller, I think, for outdoor tasks. SERE, which is a search and rescue, right? Because I know Dorset Wooden Blades would have made stuff of that. SF, Special Forces. Imagine some guy is making stuff for Special Forces, SBS, and an SBS guy wants something proper. There shouldn't be any design problem with anything that's practical if a guy's willing to pay for a custom knife, blade, parang, golok, whatever. And the combat and fighting point should be irrelevant, because an artisan maker should be able to do something, do you understand me, with an age check for a military personnel. Makers for bushcraft, gardening, farming, survival, military. I've put in Martindales. I don't want to threaten their thing. I know it's practical, but imagine they come up, they had a thing and they had 2 holes in it. It'd be 2 or 3 features. It's got a smooth edge. Smooth. Alright. Wood cutting, carvers for stock knives. Some stock knives, they have a hook on the end. Some stock knives could have a series of holes for literally cleaving down through your green wood when you make 10 pegs. A long stock knife, a cleaver with holes in, could fix on the thing and have different holes, different actions for different tasks. The holes being mounts. Forest management, hedge laying, 4x4 rescue, green lane upkeep, recovery branches. Once again, a question many members of the public are not qualified or experienced to give an answer to, and could lead to dilution of key aspects of these practical tools. What do you think large knives and machetes are used for in the UK? What? To which the public say,
I can't see any use for a big knife. I just go with my
Highlander rucksack and drinks flask. I never need a knife. This is the difference between bushcraft and camping. You literally could go through life camping, hiking, doing 10 tours, and you don't even need a Swiss Army knife. All your food's MRE. You're not really sort of doing anything that requires any cutting whatsoever. You just literally waft along the path and then fine. But there are practical people who do practical tasks. The first tool we came up with was a knife. It's a blade in the hand for us to use. Okay, question 6. Do you agree that proposed new power is necessary and proportionate? No. I say it's a loaded question. Only seized when in no doubt. The preliminary thing above is about cops going in under a lawful condition in order to seize. Okay. It's a loaded question. Do you agree that the proposed new power is necessary and proportionate? You only should be seized when they're in no doubt. Okay, you know, they've got the guy, bang the rights, they go back to his gaff and they get his stuff. We ain't gonna miss out on what eat the crap that he's got. Yeah, but only of that individual concern. It shouldn't be their family. It shouldn't be taking their dad's tools. It's a strange one. They've loaded it again. Okay, question 7. We invite views in relation to whether the power should apply to any knife in private property only to knives of a certain length. And they give you an option of any knife in private property, knives of a certain length. Length is irrelevant. Once again, this question is open to the public to think that anything over 3 inches already is illegal, which some think. This leaves a huge risk of vilifying genuine long-bladed outdoor tools, because these questions are posed in this manner. This fixation with length. Okay, question 8. We invite views from respondents as to whether there should be a right of appeal to the courts in order to recover a seized item, or if the avenue of redress should only be through the police complaints process. I say I'm not a lawyer. I've just left it if found innocent or the appeal to wrongful seizure, all items to own should be returned. That's all I've put on that, because I say I'm not a barrister. I'm not a lawyer. The stuff shouldn't be seized and destroyed, because innocent until proven guilty is here we go. Proposal 3. So question 9, but proposal 3. This is to increase the maximum penalty for the offence of sale of the prohibited dangerous weapons and sale of knives to persons under 18, and they want to increase it to 2 years. I don't know what it is at the moment. Might be 18 months, might be 2 weeks, I don't know. Anyway, I've just put no. It's against the law already, is my answer. I don't know. And this is proposal 4. Should the criminal justice system treat those who carry in public prohibited knives and offensive weapons more seriously? So you're carrying something that is prohibited, and you're carrying something that's offensive, an offensive weapon. Yeah. And this is the other one. They say this is just a personal thing. You haven't got to go along with it, and don't have a go at me in the comments for too much about this. But proposal 5 is a new possession offence of a bladed article with the intention to endanger life or cause fear of violence. Is a damn sight different than someone who's forgotten to take his Stanley knife when he's gone into Sainsbury's. If you've left home with the intention, if you've done some thing and threatening behaviour beforehand and saying that someone from our east side is going to meet you on the west side and we're going to do all the rest of it, and then the police manage to find out where you are and catch you, and you've got a horrendous great big zombie knife stuffed down your tracksuit bottom, that is a possession of a bladed article with the intention to endanger life and cause fear of violence, or to cause fear of violence. Do I agree with the proposal? Yeah. Nick the rascal. Okay, but in the box I've put however, context needed as well, such as the gang history, violent history, associates history, stuffing what have I put? Stuffing a machete down the tracksuit. When it all starts falling into place, yeah, he's left his gaff with the intention to endanger life or cause fear of violence. I'm never going to do that. So, stuff them. Yeah. Now there comes a point where, if you're concerned, as in you have concern in the proposals, like you're a manufacturer, you're a distributor, you're a retailer, and all the rest of it, and you split off and start answering more questions. So this obviously, because I'm a maker, a manufacturer, the question just previous to that, you do that and then you go straight to number 18. So now we're into other ones now. So question 12, proposal 1. Banning certain types of knives and machetes which we suggest have no practical use and seem to be designed to look menacing and suitable combat is their proposal. By in scope, we mean fixed sharp blades with a blade of at least 8 inches and have two of the following features. At least two of the following features. Plain cutting edge, serrated edge, or more than one hole in the blade. That's what they're thinking of doing, of which I've already previously said you should be going after fantasy, zombie, that's it. Your plain edge, your serrated edge, you don't even know what a serration is. And more than one hole. what's holes got to do with it? So I've ticked manufacturer. That was question 12. Question 13. Which combination of features do the blades that I sell meet? Tick all that apply. The only one I can think of is my Berserker, okay? Because all mine have either a plain edge and a sharpened swedge. I don't really do saw teeth in general. I got an old prototype one, but what do I make? So plain cutting edge and more than one hole and blade is going to affect me, okay? 14, by length of blade. They will now want to know how many I've got in stock generally. I've put for 8s, 9s, 10s about 3 each. That's what I got in stock pre-cut. This is where, you know, they're starting to ask questions like, this is where you went really opening yourself up as a maker to give them more information. Great. Okay. And then for prices, so of course my prices for 8s, 9s, 10s are £300 to £400, which again is the not the cheap zombie fantasy stuff. And then question 16, by length of blade, how many did you sell last year? And I've put 2, 1 and 1, or 2, 2, 2, you know, so sort of a prepper knife, a couple of Leukus and a couple of Goloks. It's that sort of numbers that I've had to put. How many, this is question 17, how many non-culinary blades do my organisation sell? In a year I put about 15. About 15 knives in a year I make. Question 18, any further business or trade impacts of this proposal beyond those that have not been considered? Can't quite remember, but I've written on there, artisan makers' purchase price is utterly disconnected with the gang issues. I always age check customers and dismiss any when the conversation of concept, i.e. what their intended use is, strays away from outdoor and camping. There's been a few times in the past when the conversation's just got a little bit spicy. I've literally ended it there and then. I said, I'm not prepared to make you one. And literally had to see how the conversation went. You ain't getting anywhere, not with me. And then under that I've put, all your design descriptions are laughable. Straight edge, serrated edge, holes. Okay, serrated, plain, bracket, smooth, and holes. They're all your descriptions are pointless. It should be specifically, you're going to take away these cheap zombie fantasy knives that we'd all basically agreed to getting rid of anyway. And then they want sort of an impacts of the administrative costs of this proposal, GDPR. I don't know. I just put hours of time and cost of hard drives. You know, having to log all this, and any business trade impacts. Number 20, beyond those set out that may not have been considered. Just basically negative aspects to the knife industry, material supplier, outdoor pursuits, literally anything involving a blade. Impact does not identify any business with the proposers. Any business may not be considered. I put literally, it's just the cheap overseas rubbish getting imported by some wholesalers. Most outlets that I use never stock the fantasy zombie cheap rubbish. You know, it's like the few warehouse places with the cheap zombie ones, like 16 quid. So, and then 22, do you have any comments or proposals in this consultancy in relation to impact on protected characteristics under the Equity Act? So they've put age, disability, pregnancy, maternity, race, religion or belief. Well, I've obviously put, yeah, the Sikh religion involves Kandar and Kirpan. They need to be protected. Pagans, you know, plain silly buggers now. Pagans use ceremonial blades, Wiccans and Druids, and anybody with an outdoor loving public in general. Like people who use knives. Still a belief. It's a belief system. getting outdoors, into nature, forest bathing, campfires, de-stressing. And then finally, I've had to leave my full name, the company, Wessex Blades, my email, and I've described myself as a sole trader and a cutler. And that should be it. So basically, going back through, do I agree with the government taking further action on knife crime? No. Agree with the proposal? No, because you've added suitable for combat. Smooth and serrated edges, just pointless again. No. All manner of practical knives as a combination of plain and serrated edges. They don't grasp the difference between serrated, sawback, or teeth in general, or big hooks, or gut hook, or anything. Do they know what a serration is? The whole thing, pointless. It should be zombies. They're more cutouts, aren't they, those big holes? Length, no. You know, the fact that it's the practical blades should be free from this restriction. The problem is if someone in all their innocence has put 2 holes in a parang. The problem is if someone's made a parang and just thought it'd be really cool to put 2 holes in it. Just then it's got at least 2 of the 3 features that they deem is something that's problematic. A lot of cleavers have, or the ramp humpback, they have a few holes in it. A few, you know, sort of outdoor big Bowies have a few holes in it. Not huge, great square cut out vents. There's a big difference. As a proper paracord. The length thing. And this is the problem is the loaded questions. Do you agree that the proposed new power is necessary and proportionate? Do you agree that it's proportionate? You know, well, no, and then you've got to give your answer. Anyway, I hope that's of some help to you. Those are my answers just now, off and away. Do leave your comments on there. Please give me a like, because I've put about 8 days into this now, and I need to sort of like draw a line under it and get on with the production. I got Andy patiently waited for this. Oh, it's got holes in it. Yeah, that's the handle. Okay, but we'll get there. Got these available as well. I mean, the problem is do they think that jimping is serrations? Because a lot of my knives have jimping. They don't know the difference. And they've left this open to the public, who could think, oh yeah, any serrations, because if they end up with a swedge and the spine is now narrowed to what would be a 4mm blank, and it narrows down to 1/2 mm because you've come in a bit and it's got 1/2 mm spine on the top, you could actually do some sawing action with it. Is that what they then think are serrations, when in fact it's just pretty aggressive jimping? Yeah, so anyway, trying to fight the good fight for all us makers, and like wholesalers as well, like warehouses they need to make a business. Heine Haynes need to make a business. Bushcraft Store needs to make a business. Ronnie Sunshine needs to get, you know, keep a head above water. And there shouldn't be anything wrong in selling a Tramontina or a Martindale's or a US Army machete that happens to have a sawback. That would be any sawback. 2 of the 3 features. When they said it beforehand, it was like smooth edge, serrations, holes, the 3 together. But now they say at least 2 of the 3. So that means any sawback machete. Any sawback machete. with serrations. They say serrations, but that would mean the Tops Steel Eagle is a big blade with, in their terms, 2 of the 3 features. Thanks for joining me again. Scott Wessex Blades out. Make sure to give me a like. I'm tired now.